Kia ora, welcome to the When in Doubt Add Sequins hop. There'll be a link of other people who have worked on adding sequins to their layouts below, so make sure you check them out. My name is Lara. I'm also known as Scrappykea on various social media. I'm going to do a bit of a watercolour kind of background with a bit of stamping and mixed media and things to start with on just some white daisy cardstock. So I've just grabbed some stamps from my collection that have a bit of pattern on them, and it just so happens that there was a doily stamp. And I've just sort of first, second and third generation stamped that on the page before I'm adding some light blue watercolor paint, and I'm squeezing the brush quite hard as I go just to make sure that it's not a really thick strong color, so it's a nice light color on the background here. So I have already gone ahead and cut out on the Cricut a couple of cuts from one of the close to my heart, I think it was the Everyday Moments digital cut files collection, and I have them ready to place over the top as well as some of the pieces that go in it. I did adapt that sort of cut to suit what I was doing by deleting out some of the bits of it. But you can see here that I'm just mixing in both that light blue and that darker blue, and I'm just going back over parts just to add a little bit more shading, a bit of shape to this, what probably looks like a bit of a mess in the background. I know that when I'm going to put my photo on, which is a larger photo than I've been scrapping with lately, that it will cover up a lot of this, but I just wanted hints of it peeking out from behind where the photo is going to sit. So I'm using some gloss acrylic sprays. I've got a dark, I think it's Night or something like that, the white, the gold, and one of the blue, which perhaps was turquoise on there. The gold was a bit hard to open, but I eventually got there. So I'm going to have to use my heat gun here to dry those off so that I'm ready to carry on with creating this page. So this heat gun has served me for many years and it's still going well. My friend picked it up. I won a voucher for winning a scrapbook competition a long time ago. It was probably 15 or 16 years ago, perhaps. I'm not certain now that I say that. And it was one of the things that she was able to pick up from the shop that I won the voucher from, which was pretty awesome. So this is the background that I cut out. It's the sort of overlapping circles, which is really cool. And I'm just going to use some liquid glass to go right around the outside edge of this, as well as in a piece of it. Now, the piece that I had cut out on the Cricut I thought would sort of overlap, but it didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Now I don't go around every single little piece of it. I don't mind too much if some of it sort of lifts up a wee bit from the background. It just adds to that nice texture that I've sort of started creating with that background mixed media. So you can see there that this, the white sort of puts a bit of a break to some of that mixed media in the background, and you can see how the little inner piece there ties in nicely as well. So I've cut these out and they've got little holes inside them, which you can sort of see in that top left one there, and I am just now using the normal blue Tombow to fill that in different places. So the paper that I have cut this from is called In Full Bloom, which is a close to my heart collection, which is in their new catalogue. So there's a new March-April one that's been put out, and this is the April feature collection. But I just loved the blues with the sort of textured print and the font and that sort of a distressed old look. And I thought that sort of the colours looked really nice with this photo that I took wandering on Tyree Beach last weekend with my parents. My husband and I had just gone through for the night because he had a meeting down there, and so we'd popped through, and whenever I go for a walk on this beach, it's sort of almost compulsory to have my phone or my big camera there just to take some photos. And for this photo, I was playing around with long exposure. So I turned on the live mode and tried to hold myself really still to take the photo because I wanted that nice sharp horizon. I did take about 6 or 7 photos, and not all of them had that nice sharp horizon, but this one worked really well. So I'm now roughing up the edges of the papers that I've just layered that on. Again, they're from that In Full Bloom collection. So the photo has then been edited, which you sort of pull down from the top of my iPhone and then you click long exposure, and it sort of makes the waves look like they are still moving. Sort of it softens them, but it gives you that feel of movement, which is part of why I love walking along the beach. So I'm going to add in a title, which is Tyrie Beach, and I'm going to use the white foam alpha. And I'm going to start with beach, and then I'm going to put Tyrie just above it, because I sort of wanted to put a bit more weight down this bottom left side. So you'll see how that all comes together soon. And I'm not going to leave these just white. I'm actually going to add a bit of texture to them using that same doily stamp that I'd used earlier on. And I'm just using that with my hands rather than even with an acrylic block, just to give a little bit more shape to those. So now I'm using the white pens, and it's printing beautifully on the photo. So I did test it on the little white pieces over to the right there from this photo. The photo is about 5 by 7. I sort of had to play around with my printer because I was sending it from my phone, and I used a printer that I don't normally use, so it was a bit of experimentation. So if in doubt, add sequins. So here I am adding some sequins, and I'm going to put these in the center of some of these sort of diamond shapes within the circle. So some have got paper and some are going to have some sequins. So this is a lovely, I think this was a bluebell collection of sequins that Close to My Heart had out. That was the feature colour last year, so they must have been in last year's sort of annual catalogue. And so I've tied them in, and I'm going to pop those into 3 different centre pieces, and then I'm going to use a different colour as well. So part of this hop, I'm looking forward to seeing how others use sequins, because my fallback for sequins is either just to dot a few on a page or to pop a few inside something like a cut file. So I'm really hoping that I can get a few more ideas on how to add a little bit more sparkle and sequins to pages that I am creating in the future. So maybe you want to grab a notebook and make some notes of all the different ways that you can add sequins to your page that all of the people linked below will be showing you. So this beach has sort of had a long history for our family. My dad's granddad had sort of a holiday house that he had built or put up at Tyrie Beach, and the house that my parents have out there now is just 2 or 3 houses down from that one, and currently Dad's cousin and his wife are living there while they're building up the hill a little bit further. So Dad, I guess, came to this beach as a kid, and I've enjoyed coming here for quite a few years. And even I remember when I was at university, just needing to get a bit of time out and to get some study done, being able to ask my auntie if I could rent the crib that's just down the road. Crib is another word for batch in the South Island of New Zealand. And I stayed there for a few nights and just enjoyed the odd wander along the beach and got quite a bit of study done. So I've now added some sort of more of the white and silver sequins, and I'm just going to pop that into a few more spots because again, the page didn't feel quite finished, and as the title of this hop, when in doubt, add sequins. So I decided I just needed to add a few more, and I do 3 of these little inner pieces with these sequins. These little containers that I'm keeping the sequins in, love them because I'm often able to pull out pieces from the main bowl into the lid, and it does make it a little bit easier to select those than getting them from the whole lot. So all I'm doing is squirting lots of liquid glass into the diamond shape, and then using my little paper piercer tool to pick up the sequins and pop them onto or into that diamond shape. So I hope that you have enjoyed seeing me add some sequins to a page, and that you will check out the links below. One of them has a great discount offer on her sequin shop, so it might be worth seeing what she's got to offer you there. But just here's some closer up images of the finished page that I have created by just adding some sequins. Yeah, love how they finished off the page. If you've liked this, please click the like, and I'd love to have you as a subscriber if you're not already one of my wonderful subscribers. Thanks for watching.